So, according to the creator of Jujutsu Kaisen, Gege Akutami, Jujutsu Kaisen is expected to be ending somewhere around 2023. And also, you're gonna get used to a lot of redactions. If you don't understand what I'm trying to say, stick around till the end and you'll find out why I said what I just said. Now with that said, let's get into it. So, we have been blessed with a wonderful interview with the creator of Jujutsu Kaisen, Gege Akutami, and in said interview, a lot was said. Like, a lot was said. And a lot was... So I'm going to be covering almost everything said in this interview, and hopefully you learned something. And by the way, if you're wondering where I got this info from, I was helped, and credit to my source will definitely be in the description and also the comment section, just so you can see it. Because when this came out, every Jujutsu Kaisen fan was practically ready and waiting and excited for this type of information. With that said, we are going to be going pretty fast through this video, so hold on. Now firstly, Akutami mentions that they were inspired by Zaraki Kenpachi from Bleach when making Todo Ao. And Todo is our favorite character, he's our best big brother right there. And they said that Todo's name was named such because Todo sounds like a strong name. But Google, when you type Todo into Google, you end up finding out that that name just means classmate finder. Personally, I just find that hilarious considering Todo's encounters throughout the series. But anyways, while on the topic of paying homage to a certain character from another series, it had been said that Geto had his ideologies pay homage to Sunsui Shinobu from Yu Yu Hakusho. Definitely an amazing series, a great series. You should definitely go watch it if you haven't. And I genuinely do love it when creators take reference from other creators. It's like this whole idea of taking the best from everything and then creating the best. If you understand where I'm coming from. This is why Jujutsu Kaisen is actually doing so well. So props to Gege Akutami for doing this. Honestly, I love Gege Akutami for creating this series. Truly an amazing mangaka in their own right. But anyways, on to next news. Okay, it's finally been debunked. Okay, if you're wondering what has been debunked, the whole memory manipulation thing that has been going on with Choso and Todo, according to Akutami, this has nothing to do with Yuji having any sort of memory manipulation techniques or abilities. So yes, it definitely is something present within the series, but Yuji is not responsible for this, as Akutami has stated that both of their false memories are from completely different reasons, which will be explored later on in the series. So everybody who had a theory about Yuji and this whole thing, go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, this is big brain time.
And I do look forward to seeing what you have to come up with. Now, next news, spoiler! Skip to the timestamp if you want to avoid the spoiler, which is basically for those people who haven't read the manga. Anyways, despite Hanami's death, Akutami still hasn't actually decided what they wanted Hanami's domain expansion to be. This just shows Gege never really intended to really delve too much into Hanami, and I personally would have loved to see Hanami's domain expansion where it would be similar to like Dagon's, but instead of a tropical island, we'd get something along the lines of the Amazon rainforest, and then you'd get attacked by every single dangerous thing in the wild. Like, for example, dying from the Manchineal tree, which is the deadliest tree in the world, and touching that tree would result in a ton of no-nos. Yes, I'm just gonna refer to them as no-nos. If people manage to dodge certain attacks like that, then they would get poisoned by certain gas toxins from like deadly flowers or something like that. I don't know, I really wanted that. It's like a whole situation of what could have been, but it is what it is. So we're gonna move on to next news. For fans who are wondering what's going on with Utahime and Todo and Mechamaru having all symbolic scars on their face, no. It's been stated that they're just battle scars. There's no meaning behind them. It's not that deep. Don't look too deeply into this. Now, on to next news, which again is a spoiler. Okay, now you see Yuki, right? Those lines under her eyes. Now, everybody is suspecting that it could be a connection between her and Yuji Itadori, but nope, according to the interview, they're just eye bags for, I don't know. They're just eye bags. For a character who's so out of business and so self-isolated from what we have seen so far, she really doesn't get as much sleep as I expected. She's beautiful anyways, so we love Yuki, and I just hope to see more of her in the series. Now, on to next news. Remember back then during the Goodwill, I mean, if you're an anime watcher, you don't really need to look back, you could just need to watch what's going on. But for manga readers, remember back then when Gojo was absent before he made his amazing appearance in episode 20? Yo, I'ma get back to that later because holy fuck. But anyways, remember when he was absent, right? Apparently now it's been revealed that during Gojo's absence, he met up with Yuta Okotsu, which basically, wait, spoilers! Anyways, that basically proves that Yuta has no real intent on killing Yuji Itadori because Gojo already knows that the higher-ups are on his ass and they're probably planning some shit to happen once Gojo's absent. So it's most likely that Gojo had a conversation with Yuta as a kind of contingency plan to say this is what happens in case I vanish. So that means we'll definitely be seeing more of that later on in the series. Which also brings up the question of the whole, what happened with Yuta after the whole Rika situation in Volume 0? Did he go back or did he stay a special grade? Everybody was questioning what exactly happened after that whole situation. So, Gege Akutami had stated that after this whole situation, Yuta went back, like he dropped down to a 4th level or 4th grade sorcerer, but somehow managed to make a comeback and now is special grade again. What a boss. This honestly makes Yuta one of my favorite characters because like he managed to go from the top to the bottom and he skyrocketed back to the top. Not even like grade 1 or supreme grade. He went back to special grade. One of the only special grade sorcerers in the entire series. That's just whoa. Okay, that's just skill right there, and that makes Yuta one of my favorite characters. It makes him, to me, my opinion, don't come at me for this, but to me, Yuta is actually one of the best characters within this series. From as little as we've seen, he's just that good for me. So again, once again, it's my opinion, don't come at me for it. Now on to next news. By the way, hey there, time traveler. How does it feel using King Crimson's powers to skip through the timeline? I'm sorry, that was so cringe. Okay, sorry. That was just me pulling the legs of those who skip to avoid the spoilers. Anyways, speaking of which, my goodness, that's where the redaction comes from, and it's so frustrating because we could have found out so much more. So basically what happened is that during the interview, Gege was spoiling a lot of things involving the future of Jujutsu Kaisen, and these things involve the future of like Megumi, right? And in fact, it basically went somewhat along the lines of, so why did Sukuna spare Megumi? Oh, you want to know about that? Okay, cool. So the reason why Megumi was spared by Sukuna is because which sucks, but it makes sense why they did it. Maybe Anime Ball's deep theory about Megumi and Sukuna could be correct, but again, who knows, they blurred the fuck out of everything. Now on to next news. Since Narata and Akari are siblings within the Jujutsu Kaisen series, we may actually see more of them in the future, which I enjoy because Gege is really trying to give us as many characters and trying to give them as much screen time as possible, which will add on to their development and their progression, which just really helps boost the series. Like Jujutsu Kaisen is starting to become one of those series where it's like you'd revisit it a lot of times just because it's that good. Now on to next news. Gege Akutami has revealed that they have already mentally planned the whole future of Yuji Itadori and Megumi Fushiguro, but Sukuna's ending is still yet to be determined, which is quite interesting if you think about it. So that tells us that despite Yuji and Sukuna being connected and being together, their endings may not exactly cross paths in the way that we think they would. But hey, I'm not the one who's here to be discussing theories on this video. That's up to you, and I honestly look forward to seeing every single one's thought on this in the form of the comments in the comment section, or just in like your own video. I really want to see what ideas the entire fandom has. But anyways, on to next news. Speaking of Megumi, it seems that in the future, the one who's going to break the news to Megumi about Toji, his father, will be none other than spoiler! Wait, skip on. Okay, anyways, it'll be none other than Gojo Satoru. And I think this makes sense since Gojo was the one to, well, purple the dude. So I'm very hopeful to see how this is going to turn out. I'm hopeful to see how Megumin's going to react. Obviously, he's not gonna care at first glance, since Gojo pretty much functioned as Megumin's father figure the whole time. But imagine, like, the shock on Megumi's face when Gojo pulls out a picture of Toji and he's like, "This was your dad!" And then Megumi's eyes just widen and then he has a whole flashback of this whole situation where he fought his own father and shit like that shit that happened in Dagon's domain expansion. Now that would blow my mind to see how deeply that would impact Megumin, and it would be so deep, okay? I honestly believe that would drive Megumin to try and train more and like move as well as Toji, which could also function into the whole idea that Gojo said that Megumi has more potential than Gojo himself, which would be awesome. Imagine Megumin having the abilities that he had. Imagine Megumin having his techniques with his techniques. Like, you get what I'm trying to say? But boy, let me chill though. But with that said, it just screams that Gojo is coming back, and probably sooner or later, as the Twitter users YGNJam95, I know I said that name wrong, it's probably a different way to say it, but as they say, we're probably going to get a Gojo unboxing really soon. Now everybody, start your timers, because after reading this, I already started mine. Definitely. Now, next news. Good thing for me and for Gege Akutami, there will be no cursed technique rank scaling. You know how everybody loves to scale things, like in Naruto we have like different types of jutsus, the D class, and then there's the forbidden jutsus and stuff like. Yeah, we're not getting that in Jujutsu Kaisen, because imagine if there were different ranks for things like cursed techniques, users, and spirits. That's just way too much of a hassle. Nobody really wants that, and I think it would be a hassle for Gege Akutami, as they said it would. And I think it's for the better, seeing as every single technique can be used differently and considered powerful in its own right. For example, that one guy who had that like super strong defense, like it gets stronger the harder you hit him. Like, it's not about ability, it's about how you use it, and therefore I thank Gege Akutami for not adding this whole scaling for cursed techniques. I find it really useless, and I'm glad it's not going to be added into the series. Now, on to the final news. I know it took long, well, not that long to get here, but we're here. And it's basically along the lines of Gege Akutami has said that if all things do go well, God bless, Jujutsu Kaisen is expected to wrap up its story by 2023, so 2 years from now. And honestly, I don't mind at all. I really don't mind. I don't think anybody minds this. I think it's rather fair to have this be the case, because it's rather to have a short, impactful series than a dragged on long series that's like, for example, thousands of episodes long. And yeah, imagine if Jujutsu Kaisen only got its fame from its length and not its actual story, right? It's not something worth doing. So I'm glad that Jujutsu Kaisen's ending where it's like within 2 years it's gonna be ending there instead of dragging out. Now, for those who I just need to clarify, because I know there's people like you on the internet, well, not you necessarily, but you know know who I'm talking about. You know those people who jump to conclusions? I just want to clarify, I am not throwing any shade towards One Piece or any other long series, because, I don't know, some people like to misinterpret what I'm saying as low-key slander or anything. But you get my point, okay? It's better to have a short, impactful series than a long, just drawn out, who gives a fuck type of series. You get what I'm trying to say? Like Pokemon! And I just promised myself I wasn't going to be throwing any shade. I just wanted to talk about Jujutsu Kaisen episode 20. Holy fuck! My Jesus Christ, my G! Okay. Wagwan! Mappa Studios really blessed us with this, okay? They really went ham. They're going ham on every single... Jujutsu Kaisen does not miss. It's not missing. Every single episode is a fucking banger. I don't know what's going on with this series. I don't know where they're getting this budget from, but I love it. I love it. They're going ham with this. My goodness, that imaginary technique purple just made me nuts all over my fucking screen, and I am admitting that with full confidence. Okay, now at least we finally know the travel speed of this technique, meaning it's easier to guess the outcome of my Sukuna versus Gojo video. There's probably going to be an iCard right above as I'm talking about this, and it's also going to be in the end cards and in the description, but you should definitely go check it out if you're wondering what I'm talking about. But I'm pretty sure I'm onto something. Anyways, let's ignore that video for now. What I loved a lot about this episode is that Gojo was handsome for no fucking reason. This guy looked good in every single fucking scene. It made no sense. He was strong, he was handsome, he was dashing. I know that's another synonym for handsome. You get my point. Gojo Satoru is the GOAT. He's the best. Holy shit. Let me chill though. But what I remember laughing my ass off when that guy charged towards Gojo, and then Gojo like twisted this guy's arms off. I was like, oh goodness, because it reminded me of ReZero when Petal Geese did the same thing to Rem, and I was just like, Twister, great. But anyways, let me chill. Let me chill though. Let's just say episode 19 and episode 20 are my favorite episodes from a new gen anime so far, and my mind has yet to be changed. With that said, all credits to this video goes to Sokatsu and Kai Kitan on Twitter, as like just go show them as much love as possible, because God bless, if it wasn't for them, this entire video would not have existed. Credits to Sokatsu for telling us about this whole interview like in real time as it was going on, and then we have to thank Kai Kitan for posting a PDF of the translated document of this whole meeting, where I could get more and like clear information for this video. So obviously I didn't mention everything that was in that interview because I don't want to copy Sukatsu's whole fucking flow word for word, bar for bar. So I cut out unnecessary things, like for example when they asked why does Yuji like big tall girls with big butts. But you get what I'm trying to say. Link is in the description to both Twitter pages that have the whole interview in PDF form. So please go check that out and support Gege Akutami, because they are really doing the most for this series. With that said, I have another video on its way as I'm like saying all of this. It's literally, I'm busy editing it as I'm typing and speaking. So I hope to see you again in that video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. This has been Biscord signing out. Bye.